Hello, hello, hello. I'm a local hippie, and today we are going to talk about why I prefer Kindle over physical books. Before we get started, though, let me ask: do you prefer e-readers of any sort? It doesn't have to specifically be Kindle or physical books. And then, do you prefer paperbacks or hardbacks? I cannot stand hardbacks. They're super hard to hold. I have really small hands, especially if it's a big chunky book. No sir, no sir, no sir. My I have super small hands and really small wrists, and no, just no. So let me know what you like down in the comments, whether you like e-readers or whether you like physical books. And then if you do like physical books more, do you like paperbacks or do you like hardbacks more? Okay, so with me today, I have both my Kindles. I have the standard Amazon Kindle, and then I've got my Kindle Color Soft, which I bought last year. It might have even been in 2024, late 2024. I have to go back in my videos and see, but I think, I think, I could be wrong. But I've got my Kindles, and I've been reading from my Kindle almost exclusively all year. I started a few physical books and then got the digital versions of them so that I could read on my Kindle because I just prefer reading on my Kindle. I can take my Kindle anywhere, and I've got the little grip on it. So it's like, in this grip, I placed perfectly for my hand because I hold my Kindle like this. And so it's perfect. And then this one for my Color Soft, I have it up here in the middle, which is a little less comfortable, but it's doable. But either way, both of those are way more comfortable than carrying around a physical book, even if it's floppy. Because I guess you would call me the kind of reader who is not nice to their books, okay? My books end up with broken spines. They get bent every which way. They get turned every which way but loose. And I'm one of those people who is cursed with always spilling water on my favorite books. Please, the amount of times in my life that I have had a book that I really loved and spilled water all over it, it needs to be studied. It needs to be studied. But so I just don't, I don't, I'm finding that as a reader, as I'm, steadily increasing the amount that I read this year, I just prefer to read on my Kindle. And I think there are a few reasons for this. Number one, I am visually impaired. I have an astigmatism, and I believe I am farsighted. So I be having issues. And it's really nice to be able to increase the font on the Kindle. Not only increase the font, but also I got hair in my eye. It's in my eye. Okay, but also I can increase the line spacing between each line. I can increase the spacing between each paragraph. I can increase the spacing between each word, which is very helpful. So not only am I visually impaired, but also I am slightly mildly dyslexic. So it's very difficult sometimes for me to read. But these things on the Kindle, these features on the Kindle or in the Kindle app, or probably with any e reader, it makes it so much easier to read each word and not skip words, which is something that I tend to do. And then I have to go back and read the sentence again or go back and read a paragraph again. It makes it so much easier when there's space, that negative space in between. And that's something that you can't do with a physical book. And most of the time, physical books are printed with font that is just too small for my little visually impaired eyeballs. I love also that it's not like a phone. It's illuminated, it's backlit, but it's not like a phone. So it's not going to strain my eyes and give me headaches if I'm reading my Kindle, because it's not the same mechanism as if I was reading on my phone or if I was reading on an iPad, if that makes sense. So, there's no eye strain with it. I can read on it for hours, hours, hours. I can read at night, which I've said before is when I do a lot of my reading. When I get home from work and I'm laying in bed and I'm trying to wind down to go to bed, like more than likely, if I'm not watching a YouTube video, I'm reading. And if it's not conducive to a good night's sleep, if you have literally every light on in your space and you're trying to go to bed. So again, it's just, it doesn't make sense to read a physical book. I love physical books. And if I had like, and I'm very picky, so like, you can have book lights and stuff like that, but book lights, they don't illuminate the page enough. And again, I have, you know, um some issues, visually. So like, and then I'm also very picky. I'm very particular. Okay. Things have to be very particular for me. I'm kind of like Goldilocks. You see, the things have to be just right. And I just can't achieve that with physical books. So like, the only time I can pick up a physical book is during the day, at a coffee shop, whatever. But even then, I still prefer to just take my Kindle because it's so much more accessible. Just slide it down. And with this one, this teeny tiny little thing, like, also, peep how cute. Peep how cute. Like, it's just so much easier to read on my Kindle. And I've also heard it said that you just read faster when you're on your Kindle, which I believe to be true as well. For some reason, I think I'm a pretty fast reader. Not super fast or anything like that, but I do think that I'm pretty fast depending on the font size. So with Kindle, I'm definitely reading a lot faster because I can tweak the font size to whatever I want it to be. I'll show you really quick what my font looks like on my Kindle. The size of the font and the spacing between the lines and the words. So, just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. And that makes it so much easier for me to read, which is what I'm after as a reader and as someone who this is their main hobby. It needs to feel easy, and reading my Kindle just feels easier than reading physical books. Although I love physical books, I will always collect physical books. I think for the foreseeable future, I will just be reading from my Kindle. But I also have a gripe with that because we can't download any of the books from that we have on our Kindle, and I have hundreds of books on my Kindle. So I got to figure that out because I want my books to be my books. That's a completely different topic. Um, but yeah, those are a few of the reasons why I prefer reading my Kindle, because it's more accessible, because I can tinker with the font and make it comfortable for my eyes, and because I read at night most of the time or early in the morning most of the time, and it makes it easier because it's backlit. It won't strain my eyes, it won't give me headaches, it won't keep me up at night. Um, it just is so much more accessible than physical books, as much as I love them. So yeah. Again, just let me know whether you like um, ebooks or physical books. And if you do like physical books more, are you a paperback person or are you a hardback person? With that, that's the end of the video. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And most importantly, I hope you read a good book. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.